The town of Black Hollow went silent every time Ryder Kane rode through it. Boots stopped moving. Voices disappeared. Even the sheriff looked away when the black horse passed by. Because Ryder Kane wasn't just dangerous. He was the kind of man mothers warn their daughters about in whispers. And tonight, he had only one destination, Emma Whitmore's ranch. Emma stood on the wooden porch, holding the lantern tightly as the storm rolled across the sky. Rain crashed against the dirt road, while thunder growled in the distance. Her father stepped beside her. "You go inside if he comes." Emma frowned. "Who?" But before he answered, hoofbeats echoed through the dark. Slow, heavy, terrifying. Her father's face turned pale. Ryder emerged from the storm like a shadow. Black coat, soaked with rain. Hat low over his eyes. One hand resting near the gun on his belt. The horse stopped inches from the porch. Silence. Emma felt her heartbeat stumble. Ryder slowly lifted his eyes toward her, and for the first time in years, the feared outlaw looked completely distracted. By her, her father stepped forward instantly. "You're not welcome here." Ryder ignored him. His eyes never left Emma. "What's your name?" Her throat tightened. "Emma." The corner of his mouth twitched slightly. "Pretty name." Her father grabbed a rifle beside the door. "You leave now." Ryder finally looked at him. "If I wanted trouble, old man, you'd already be dead." Emma froze. Every story she had heard about Ryder Kane rushed through her head at once. They said he once burned an entire gang alive after they betrayed him. They said no woman was ever safe around him. They said he feared nothing. Yet somehow, when he looked at her, there was something else in his eyes. Something darker than anger. Obsession. Ryder reached into his coat slowly. Emma's father aimed a rifle instantly, but Ryder only pulled out a folded paper. "I came for this." He tossed it onto the porch. Her father unfolded it carefully. His face lost all color. Emma grabbed the paper from his hands. The bank's seal stared back at her. Final notice. Their ranch would be taken within 10 days. Emma looked up quickly. "How do you have this?" "The men taking your land work for Victor Hale." Even hearing the name made people nervous. Victor Hale owned half the town, and the other half feared him. Ryder dismounted his horse. Rain poured down around him as he stepped closer to the porch. "I know what Hale plans to do." Her father spat at the ground. "And why would a devil like you care?" Ryder's eyes shifted toward Emma again. "Because she's in danger." Emma felt chills crawl across her skin. "What danger?" Ryder stepped under the porch roof. "Closer now. Too close." "Hale wants the ranch," Ryder said quietly. "But when he saw you in town last week," Emma's stomach dropped. Ryder's jaw tightened hard. "He decided he wants more than land." Her father cocked a rifle immediately. "I'll kill every man that steps onto this property." Ryder looked at the old weapon. "You won't get the chance." Thunder exploded overhead. Emma stared at Ryder carefully. "Why are you helping us?" For a moment, he said nothing. Then finally, "Because Hale fears me." The lantern flickered between them. Emma should have been terrified. Every instinct told her to run from this man. But the storm in Ryder's eyes pulled her in deeper, like danger itself was standing in front of her. And somehow, she couldn't look away. A loud scream suddenly echoed from the barn. Emma gasped. Her father spun around. The horses inside were panicking violently. Ryder moved instantly. "Stay here." But Emma ignored him and ran into the rain toward the barn. Lightning flashed across the sky as she pulled the barn door open and froze. One of the stable boys lay bleeding on the ground, a knife buried in his shoulder. Emma screamed. Ryder stormed inside seconds later. The wounded boy grabbed Ryder's arm desperately. "They're here!" Ryder's face darkened. "Who?" "Hale's men." The boy pointed weakly toward the hill beyond the ranch. Torches appeared through the rain. At least 20 riders, coming straight toward them. Emma stepped backward in fear. Her father loaded the rifle with shaking hands. "We're dead." But Ryder Kane slowly pulled his gun from the holster, completely calm, completely cold. Then he looked at Emma one more time and said the words that changed everything. "No one touches what's mine." If this love story touched your heart, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more emotional romance stories every week. And tell me in the comments, would you choose the safe life or the person who makes you feel alive? The torches move closer through the storm. 20 riders, maybe more. Their horses thunder across the muddy hill like an army marching toward death. Emma's father cursed under his breath. We can't fight that many. But Rider Kane stood perfectly still in the center of the barn, like he'd been waiting for this. Rain dripped from the edge of his hat, while his fingers rested loosely around the revolver. Emma stared at him. How are you so calm? Ryder looked at her slowly. Because men like Hale only send others to die for him. Another scream echoed outside. Gunshots exploded seconds later. Her father rushed toward the barn doors. They're already here. Ryder grabbed Emma's wrist before she could move. The touch sent heat through her entire body. Stay behind me. Before she could answer, the barn doors burst open violently. 3 armed men stormed inside. One pointed directly at Emma. There she is. Ryder fired before the man finished speaking. Bang! The bullet ripped through the attacker's chest instantly. Emma gasped. The second man reached for his weapon. Bang! Another body hit the dirt floor. The third tried running. Ryder grabbed him by the collar and slammed him hard against the wooden wall. Who sent you? The man laughed nervously despite blood pouring from his mouth. Hale wants a girl alive. Ryder's face turned deadly. And if she fights? The man smirked. Hale said bruises heal. Emma felt sick. Ryder's eyes became completely emotionless. A second later, crack! The man's neck snapped. Emma stumbled backward in horror. Ryder dropped the body like garbage, then turned toward her calmly. You hurt? She shook her head slowly. But fear now mixed with something far more dangerous, because seeing Ryder kill for her should have terrified her completely. Instead, part of her felt safer, standing near him. Outside, more gunshots rang through the ranch. Men screamed. Horses panicked. The storm swallowed everything. Her father barred the barn doors quickly. We need to run. Ryder reloaded his revolver. No. Emma looked at him. No. They'll hunt you forever if you run. Another bullet tore through the wood beside Emma's head. She screamed instinctively. Ryder instantly pulled her against his chest. The world froze. His arm wrapped tightly around her waist while bullets smashed into barn outside. Emma looked up at him breathlessly. Even covered in blood and rain, he was terrifyingly beautiful. Ryder looked down at her with dark eyes. You listen to me carefully. His voice was low, dangerously low. I don't lose what I protect. The tension between them burned hotter than the storm. Her father interrupted quickly. There's a tunnel beneath the grain room. Ryder nodded once. Take Emma and leave. Emma grabbed Ryder's arm immediately. What about you? A faint smile touched his lips for the first time. I'm gonna remind these men why they fear me. Before she could stop him, Ryder kicked open the barn doors and walked directly into the rain. Gunfire exploded instantly. Emma ran toward the opening in panic. Ryder, lightning lit up the ranch, and she saw him. One man against an army. Yet Hale's riders were backing away. Terrified, Ryder shot one rider off his horse. Then another. Every movement cold, precise, merciless. The men started shouting desperately. It's Kane! Fall back! He's killing everyone. One attacker charged Ryder with a knife. Big mistake. Ryder caught the man's wrist midair and drove the blade straight into his throat. Blood sprayed across the rain. Emma covered her mouth in shock. Her father grabbed her arm. We have to go now. But Emma couldn't stop staring at Ryder, because under every terrifying rumor, under every story about the monster of Black Hollow, there was something worse. A man willing to burn the world down for her. Suddenly, a rifle aimed from the hill, directly at Ryder's back. Emma saw it first. Ryder, the gun fired. Time slowed. Ryder turned too late. The bullet tore through his shoulder violently. He dropped to one knee. Emma screamed and broke free from her father instantly. She ran straight into the battlefield. Emma and O. Bullets tore through the mud around her as she reached Ryder. Blood soaked through his black coat. Ryder looked up angrily. "What the hell are you doing? You're hurt." He grabbed her face roughly. "I told you to stay behind me." Another rider charged toward them. Ryder fired without even looking. The attacker fell dead instantly. Emma's breathing shook. You can barely stand. Ryder forced himself back up despite the blood loss. Then he leaned close enough for his forehead to touch hers and whispered, "I'd crawl through hell before I let them take you." Rain poured over the ranch like the sky itself was collapsing. Ryder stood in front of Emma, blood running down his shoulder. Guns still raised toward the men surrounding them. But something had changed. The riders weren't attacking anymore. They were hesitating, because fear had finally returned. Not fear of death, fear of him. One rider backed his horse away slowly. "We should leave." Another shook his head nervously. "Hale said Kane might come, but..." Bang! Ryder shot him between the eyes. The body dropped into the mud. "No one leaves alive." Ryder growled. Emma stared at him in shock. The storm flashed across his face, revealing the rage underneath. Not rage from pain. Rage from seeing her threatened. Suddenly, a slow clap echoed from the hill. Every rider went silent instantly. A black carriage rolled through the rain. Victor Hale stepped out calmly. Expensive coat, silver cane, cruel smile. His eyes locked onto Emma immediately. "Well," Hale said softly, "now I understand why you became obsessed." Ryder aimed the revolver directly at his head. "You came personally. That was stupid." Hale smiled wider. "No, Ryder. What's stupid is falling in love." Emma's heart stopped. Ryder said nothing, but the silence answered everything. Hale laughed darkly. The great Ryder Kane. He looked at Emma mockingly. A monster brought to his knees by a pretty little ranch girl. Emma looked toward Ryder slowly, and for the first time, she saw it clearly. Every violent thing he'd done tonight, every bullet, every drop of blood, was for her. Hale's expression hardened suddenly. "Kill him." The riders attacked at once. Chaos exploded across the ranch. Gunfire, screaming, thunder. Riders shoved Emma behind a water trough and fired relentlessly. Bodies hit the ground one after another, but there were too many. A rider grabbed Emma from behind violently. She screamed, "Ryder!" Ryder turned instantly and froze. The man held a knife against Emma's throat. Hale stepped closer calmly. "Drop the gun." Ryder's jaw tightened. Slowly, he lowered the revolver. Emma shook her head desperately. "No." Hale struck Ryder across the face with the silver cane. Hard. Ryder barely moved. Hale hit him again, and again. Blood ran from Ryder's mouth. Still, his eyes never left Emma. "Look at you," Hale sneered. The devil finally chained. Emma's eyes filled with tears, because Ryder could have killed them all. But the second her life was threatened, he surrendered. Hale grabbed Emma's chin roughly. "She really matters to you." Ryder's voice turned deadly quiet. "Don't touch her." Hale smiled. "Or what?" Then he pressed the knife lightly against Emma's neck. That was a mistake. Ryder snapped. In one brutal movement, he grabbed the nearest rider's gun and fired straight through Hale's bodyguard. Then another bullet shattered Hale's knee. Victor screamed and collapsed into the mud. Everything happened at once after that. Ryder became something terrifying. Pure violence. He tore through Hale's men like a storm unleashed. One after another fell screaming into the rain. Nobody escaped. Nobody survived. Emma could barely breathe watching him, because the stories were true. Ryder Kane was a monster, but tonight, the monster belonged to her. Finally, silence returned to the ranch. Only thunder remained. Hale crawled weakly through the mud, blood soaking his clothes. Ryder grabbed him by the collar and dragged him across the dirt. Hale coughed desperately. "You think she'll love you after this?" Ryder looked toward Emma, standing there shaking, terrified, beautiful. Then Ryder looked back at Hale. "No," he said quietly, "but she'll live." He raised a gun. Bang! Victor Hale fell lifeless into the mud. The storm slowly softened after that. Emma stared at Ryder as he walked toward her through the rain. Blood covered him. His knuckles, his coat, his face. But his eyes, His eyes only held fear now. Fear of her reaction. Ryder stopped inches away. "If you want me gone," he said hoarsely, "I'll leave." Emma looked at the man everyone feared. The outlaw, the killer, the devil of Black Hollow, and suddenly remembered one thing. When everyone else came to destroy her, he came to protect her. Emma stepped closer slowly, then touched the blood on his cheek gently. Ryder looked stunned. "You came back for me," she whispered. "Always." The words shattered whatever was left between them. Emma grabbed his coat and kissed him hard beneath the rain. Ryder froze for half a second, then pulled her against him like he never wanted to let go again. Thunder rolled across the sky, while the feared cowboy kissed the only woman capable of ruining him. And for the first time in years, Ryder Kane finally had something more dangerous than enemies. Someone to lose.